All right, guys, welcome. The goal of this video is to show you how to navigate through PSYCinfo. And it's important to mention that this is one way, at least for me, is the way in which I usually do my research. It doesn't have to be the way, it doesn't have to be the only way, but it's a way that is easy for me to use it and I think it's practical. Save the link to this video or just, save the video so you can go back and reference to it whenever it's needed. It's actually pretty simple. What you need to do is go through my utep.edu, sign in, log in, and then you go into the library. So you go into the library. I'm sorry, maybe I went a little too fast. So here's where the library icon is. So you click on it, and it's going to take you in the library. Here, you're going to go into articles and databases. The databases, each database contains a number of different journals, and it's like the main editorial. So in psychology, what is usually, but it's not the only, but it's what is usually sought, what is usually used is PSYCinfo. What you were going to do, I'm sorry if I went a little too fast, you're going to click on the P, right? Then you're going to go into, it's in alphabetical order, and if you go all the way down, at least in my computer, it's not going through Psych to PS. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on the second page. That is going here. Click on the second page. I keep going and scrolling down. And that's where I find it. I have psych articles, psych books, psych extra, psychiatry online, psychology and behavioral sciences, but for the purposes of this class, let's focus on PSYCinfo. So I'm going to click on it. You need to log in through your UTEP credentials so you have access to it. But once I click in, it's going to tell me here to connect, and there's a link. So I'm going to click on it. Now I'm in. So PSYCinfo is not the only tool, but it's one of the most useful tools that we have to search for research on the field. So let's say, for example, I want you guys to think, well, to know, when I was an undergrad, I was very interested in this guy. When I was an undergrad, I was super interested in the work of Marcel Proust. He's actually an author, so he wrote about a very interesting thing that happened to him. He smelled like cookies, baked cookies, and the smell of that brought a lot of memories to him. He was very interested in that. That ended up leading to something called the Proust phenomenon, because the name of this guy is Proust. So when I was an undergraduate student, I was very interested in the Proust phenomenon. The thing is, I don't know if it has ever happened to you, but sometimes the smell of something brings back memories. There's a reason for that. It's because it's conducted through your limbic system, but well, the idea is that, let's say that I want to conduct some research on how memories are triggered by the sense of smell. So what I'm going to do, for example, I'm going to look for memory. And if I do my search here, it's going to come up to a bunch of articles. Look how many articles I have here. 273,337. Nobody has time for that. Nobody had time for that. So I'm going to try to refine my search. So I'm not going to only write about memory, but I'm going to write memory and olfaction, because I'm interested in how memories are triggered by the sense of smell. So I'm going to click on it. And it narrowed my research substantially. Now I'm at 1,163. Still, that can be a lot, right? So what if I'm saying, well, I don't know about and, because technically I can use not only the sense of smell, but it can maybe by the sense of addition, maybe by the sense of taste. So what if this, by the way, those are called, as you see here, Boolean terms. Boolean, and it's a way to be more specific on your research. Because if you only write one keyword, you're going to find a bunch of stuff. So if you narrow down more specifically to what you're interested, you're going to find less articles. Say that instead of and, I use OR. So I'm going to find for information that is on memory and also in the sense of smell. I'm going to click on it. And again, I find myself with a bunch of articles ahead of me. So maybe this is not what I want. Maybe I want to research first about the sense of smell before I move into memory. So what I'm going to do is olfaction, not memory. I'm going to go into the sense of smell, but I'm not going to seek the sense of memory. I'm not going to seek the process of memory. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to find other articles specifically to the sense of smell. This is how you use the Boolean or the phrase to narrow down a little bit more your research. But maybe you're saying it's because, yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the sense of smell. I don't want to see any research specifically targeted to memory. Another area of research that I was very interested in when I was an undergrad student was in the sense of smell and how it affected or how it seemed correlated to personality. So if I click here, I'm not interested in seeing about memory, but I'm interested in seeing the sense of smell and how it's related to personality. I'm going to write on the second box about personality, and now my research is a little bit more narrow as well. So I say this is interesting. If you can see here, one of the things that is also when you conduct your research, by the way, like some of those items are available. Other ones are asking you to check it in the library, so you need to refine your research a little bit more. Some of them have the full text at the bottom, so you just click on it and it will take you there. Okay. For this ones, say that you want to go into this one, but you can't find it here. You see the name of the publisher is Springer. If you want to find the specific article that is not available here, what you're going to do is you're going to go back to the library. You're going to search for the S in Springer. Springer link. You're going to go to Springer. And here you will find the article that I couldn't find through PSYCinfo. The publisher is here, but PSYCinfo is not going to give me the link to the full study. But nonetheless, I can go directly still through the library databases to the publisher, and within the publisher, then I can find that link. Now, one more thing that I want to show you is, if you notice, sometimes when you conduct your research, say in this case, olfaction, I'm not interested in memory, but I'm interested in how the sense of smell is linked to personality. Notice how, say for example, in this case, I noted that the same name of the author comes up twice. Maybe as I keep going down, I'm going to find the name of this author plenty of times. So I'm interested in seeing what this author has conducted as far as research. What I can also do is go here, write the name of the author, okay. And I'm going to find specifically the articles that this author has published. And I can perhaps see that this is a publisher, this is an author, I'm sorry, with whom I'd be interested in working. Perhaps right now, when you are finishing your master's and you want to study for a PhD, you may be thinking, I think that would be a good mentor. You can look into this researcher further, and perhaps it could be a possible mentor that you could seek for a PhD or so on, you know? You got to play with these numbers, you got to play with this information so you can find more about it. Now, okay, let's go back to the beginning. I was saying that I'm interested in the Proust phenomenon. All right, so I'm going to click on it. Couple other tools that I want you guys to notice. If you go here, limit to, you can click on one and only show you articles that you can see the full text. So you don't have to be looking elsewhere. You can find the ones that already have the PDF with it. You can seek for those that are peer-reviewed. Peer-reviewed implies that other peers have already looked at it. They have given them back feedback so they can refine their work, and they've seen that the methods, the results, and so on seem fair. So usually it lends a little bit more credibility if the research is peer-reviewed. Okay, so I want to show you one last thing. The difference between an empirical article and a literature review. And this actually works very well. Because say this one is actually an empirical article. An empirical article implies that the authors of the paper conducted a study with it. So you're going to see the standard that we were discussing last week. Here's the name, here's the abstract, and as you start to go down, this is the introduction. It's not labeled, but it is the introduction of the paper. They're talking a little bit about the literature review, what they found on the research for this area. What are some of the challenges that they're finding in the study? What is going to be the purpose of the study? What is going to be the hypothesis, and so on. And then they go into the methods, explaining how they conducted the study. In this case, they did a pilot study, the participants, the design, the materials they use, and then they go into the procedure, and then finally they show us the results. They're going to show you the percentages, describing the people that were there, talking about what they found. They do have a couple graphs, and then they go into the discussion saying this is what we found and this is what we believe it implies, and they go into all that information in the discussion section. At the end, saying this are the limitations of the study, and this is what future researchers could do. And at the bottom is where you see the references, all the people that they reference for their work. All right. If you check, however, this is a literature review, an in-depth review of the methods, findings, and theories associated. So click on it. The literature review, the authors of this paper did not conduct a study themselves, but looked at all the studies that have been done on this area, on this topic, and they're offering you like a summary of everything they found. And it's a great way to start if you have no clue what research in that specific area of study exists. So at least this can help you out to give you a starting point. You can seek into the articles that they review further. And since, for example, this one is published in 2018, you can start to look at what happened or what kind of studies have been conducted after that. So, okay, you narrow it down and you go. Typically, for this one, they do not follow, well, not typically, they never follow the standard methods that you see in an empirical paper. So there's going to be an introduction maybe, but there's not going to be a methods. There's going to be a results. There's not going to be a discussion specifically like that, because they're just going to tell you a summary of everything they found. This is what we found for the methods they're saying. These are the cues that they would use for that. And then you go down, and then you have a little bit more freedom for how you want to frame this. The key thing is that you're providing a service to the scientific community, because you're telling them what you found on that field, and it can help new researchers. Like, say if I want to take this topic back, then I can read this and I can have an idea for what I might be supposed to be looking at. Okay, so we close this. Lastly, this is something that I do, but I mean, it's helpful for me. If you want to, you can use it. Say that I was using this article and I need to reference it. To save a little time, what I'm going to do is look out for the name. Olfactory cues are more affecting the visual cues. I'm going to open Google Scholar. I found the article. I'm going to click on the quotation marks, and I have the citation here. I'm just going to copy, and then I'm going to paste it to my reference sheet. And in that way, it saves me a little bit more time than me having to write all the references down one by one. You can save a lot of time to do it that way. And if it's, say, an article that you plan on reading later, but you don't have time to read it now, you can write the reference and then go back to look into it later on. And also, if I want to, it can also give me an idea for which researchers have been conducting research past this, and I can see other papers here. So here's a literature review that I just showed you right now. 12 people have taken over that, and I can read, okay, what are the latest trends? What are the latest trends on this specifically, in this specific area of study? So that's how you use Google Scholar. At least for me, it's useful to conduct, at least to find the citations. What else? What else? Okay, link full test, peer reviewed, and if I wanted to, the proof phenomenon is one thing, and if I want to, I can go into suggest subject terms, and they can give me some insight into what other terms exist for it. So if I click on suggest specific, like similar terms, I'm going to find other ones. Perhaps not only am I interested in the proof phenomenon, but I also want to see personality correlates. So I'm going to click on it. And let's conduct some research on it. Okay. Browse. Personality correlates. Yes, let's go. Add. Search. And it gives me more information to seek if I wanted to conduct and expand my research, you know? That's pretty much how I use this one for. I do have another lesson planned in the future for how to conduct also research on a journal, but I'll leave that on a different video. If you have any questions, let me know. And again, as a reminder, this is one way. This is not the way. And remember, there's a lot of different databases. As one last thing that I can tell you is, I don't know how prevalent this is it, but remember when I was an undergrad, I would conduct a lot of research using JSTOR. I would find also a lot of articles through that database. But that was just me. So it doesn't have to be the way, it's just one way. And you can find also a lot of handouts and resources available on the information that I'm uploading along with this. If you have any questions, let me know. And that's it. Thank you guys. Hope you have a great day.